Sports Show with Thomas Mlambo. Good evening.
SABC News, independent and impartial. You know what time it is? I am addicted. Like every other shirtless fanatic out here, I crave the rush of the game. The satisfaction of a goal so hard that it grinds my teeth. The feeling that the world does not exist outside of the time left on the clock. So call me a junkie, call me insane, call me addicted, but don't call me during the game. This is the Ultimate Sports Show with Thomas Mlambo. Weeknights 6 till 7 p.m. Exclusive to Metro FM. Game over. It's the Ultimate Sports Show with jersey number 10, Thomas Mlambo.
Good evening. Welcome to it. I'm your jersey number 10, and the number 10 is ready to roll. Let's do it with you guys as teammates. We cannot fail in this encounter because there's so much to talk about on the show tonight. And tonight's going to be a little bit different. We're going to focus on one item, one issue, and that is the refereeing down in the lower divisions, right? You've probably seen it on your social media. If you haven't, you can go out on my social media, check it out at Thomas Mlambo, and see this video where at the match that took place in the ABC Motsepe, critical match in Gauteng and Mamelodi, we saw the referee having to be whisked away, taken away to safety. Ironically, it is by the team that lost the game, right? The team that lost the game actually are the team that saved the referee from the crowd. And this all happened in Mamelodi. What I need to know is if you were at this game, Dondol versus Platinum in the ABC Motsepe League, if you were at this match, call us. I want to hear from you. I need your reactions. Before we even get into the conversation, I want to hear from you. What did you see? You are the eyewitnesses, and if you're a follower and one of those that goes to lower division football, because the match was packed, right? There were so many people there. What do you think of the level of officiating at that level? Is it a safe place to go? Do you feel okay? Is the officiating okay? This match, Dondol versus Platinum, took place over the weekend, and that was the match that I really want to focus in on today's show. Horrific scenes there. We'll even give you a little bit of a voice sounding of what happened there and the reactions, the crowd, the anger. That's all coming up in the show tonight. However, to have a conversation is the Provincial Executive Officer of SAFA Gauteng, Victor Ralechana, and then Nazir Baker is the chairman of Platinum. He'll give us his perspective. We were in conversation with Dondol's chairman as well, but at this stage, he's saying that he's consulted with his lawyers, and his lawyers are advising that he not have the conversation. But if he does change his mind throughout the show, it would be an absolute pleasure to have the chairman of Dondol join us. He's the hero of the story. He's the one who lost the game, but still was having the presence of mind to assist the referee to leave the stadium and make sure that he is safe. So, sir, if you want to have that conversation, please join us. We really want to hear from you. We want to celebrate your heroics. However, let's get into the show. Let's find out what else is going on. I've got thoughts for you coming up next. Strap yourselves in. This is going to be a bumpy ride.
Have your say and call Thomas. Okay. On 089-110-3377. Or get in touch with the Ultimate Sports Show via WhatsApp on 079-585-6157.
All I need is one mic.
It's time for Thomas and Mlambo's Ultimate Thoughts of the Day.
Nothing gonna stop me now.
The Ultimate Thoughts of the Day with Thomas and Mlambo.
Okay, so I know you know that I don't sleep at around midnight because I'm up watching cricket. The ICC Women's Cricket World Cup down under in New Zealand has me fascinated because our Proteas women's team is just not being celebrated enough. And absolutely, when they get back to South Africa, we have to talk to some of the star players, the players that have just been representing us with so much pride. And before this morning's encounter against Australia, our Proteas team were undefeated, but we've tasted defeat for the very first time against the Australians. Yeah. And it was one of those where I had hope, I believed. I thought, yeah, this is it. We're going to win this game because we batted as our Proteas women. We put on 271 for the loss of 5 wickets. It looked like a good score. You know, Laura Volfart coming with 90 runs. She was the top run scorer for the Proteas women. But it wasn't enough, because when it was time to bowl, wow, those Australians were just too good. And one in particular, Meg Lanning, 135 not out. Can you imagine? In an ODI, 135 not out. She just refused to give up her wicket, and she was the difference between the Proteas and Australia earlier on today. So we lose our first match, but nothing to be concerned about at this stage. We're still on track for the semi-finals and potentially the final. The only critical thing here that we need to keep in mind, right, is our next game with our Proteas women's team at the ICC Cricket World Cup is on Thursday against the West Indies. And we just need to win, right? We need to keep winning, because we don't want to meet Australia in the semi-final. We want them again in the final. So if we are still second on the log table, we'll meet them in the final, surely, because we'll beat whoever's in the semi against us, get to the final, and then revenge time. That's my plan. Tell me what you think. If you do get up in the morning and watch them, how are you feeling? You know, are you a little bit sad today, or are you still feeling, energetic about the Proteas women's side and how they're doing down under at the ICC Cricket World Cup? Staying with cricket, and let me move on to the men's game. They're not playing a World Cup. They're involved in an ODI series, and a bit of bad news in terms of the options for selection. That is tomorrow's match against Bangladesh. Critical game. Remember, the scoreline there's 1-1 in the ODIs. They won the first one. We won the second one. And now tomorrow we take each other on in the third and final one to see who takes the series. And all-rounder Wayne Parnell is out. He's injured, so we'll have to see what the selectors decide to do in terms of replacing him. And interestingly, Bangladesh star like Shakib Al-Hasan, he's decided to play in the final match tomorrow, despite the fact that his mother and his 2 children are in hospital back in Bangladesh with an unspecified illness. That's what they said in the report. He was supposed to actually go back to Bangladesh and check on things there yesterday, but he decided he was going to stay for the match, fight for his country, and then probably leave directly after the match, missing out on the test series between the Proteas and Bangladesh. Unspecified illness, your mom and 2 children are in hospital. I think maybe that mom was on the line and said, listen, don't worry, we'll be okay, son. It's fine. It's not that serious. Fight for the country. Try and get that third, that second win in the ODI series. Otherwise, surely you have to get on the plane, right? Like if it's serious, and they tell you, hey, you go immediately. Anyway, going on to what's going on in the world of tennis. And it's not something that I report on all that much, but lots going on today in the tennis circles. And I'm going to start out with an off-the-court story, because this guy is one of my heroes, right? Boris Becker, Boom Becker. I remember growing up and watching, Boris Becker as a 17-year-old at Wimbledon, winning, copying that serve where he bends his back so much and trying to do what Boris Becker was doing. The German superstar was everything to a youngster who thought he was good at tennis, and I thought that, but nowhere near as good as what Boris was. He then went on to be a 6-time Grand Slam winner, did Boris Becker. He's now 54, but he finds himself in legal trouble, right? He's in court. His court case started today, the first day of what's expected to be a 3-week trial, dealing with his honesty in declaring his assets when he said he was bankrupt in 2017. So yeah, he's found problems here. And the prosecutor, Rebecca Chackley, she says Becker acted dishonestly with regards to a number of his assets. The prosecution says Mr. Becker did both before and after the date of his bankruptcy agreement by not disclosing, not providing, or delivering up on or removing assets or things of value. So bottom line is, the charges include 9 counts of not handing over trophies and awards and 7 of concealing property valued at more than 1.5 million euro. Bad boy, Boris, bad boy. They want to know in order to be able to decide that you're bankrupt and you can't pay people. And then he apparently, according to these reports, was hiding the loot. Now he has to face the criminal justice system in the UK, does Boris Becker. Staying with tennis, Rafael Nadal is out for 6 to 8 weeks. He's got a stress fracture to one of his ribs. And yeah, that's bad news. I mean, he was brilliant at the Australian Open earlier on this season, winning the Australian Open, but now out for 6 to 8 weeks is Rafael Nadal. Stress fracture to one of the ribs. What I've always wanted to know is, how do you even find that out? Like, stress fracture to your rib. Do you know what kind of equipment you need to do that? And like, is it like really, really, really painful? Like, I've never hurt a rib, so I don't know. The only ribs I know are the spare ones, and those are very tasty. But this is going to keep Rafael Nadal out for some time. But fortunately, I don't think he'll be out long enough to miss the next major. So the Grand Slams still look like he's going to be able to play, but the next couple of events on tour, he will be out of those. And then big news as far as wheelchair tennis in South Africa. And wherever I get a chance to talk wheelchair tennis and the South African team, I absolutely must, because wheelchair tennis gave me one of the best trips I've ever had in my life. I went to the Australian Open with the wheelchair tennis team. I got to meet some of the biggest heroes. I got to go into the change room. I got to sit in the lunch. I was like there because they gave me that invite, and I'll always be grateful to Wheelchair Tennis South Africa. But they are now doing amazing things because Wheelchair Tennis South Africa's team secured a place in the BNP Paribas World Team Cup after qualifying in Turkey yesterday, right? So the BNP Paribas World Team Cup will be played in May in Portugal. And the SA team was like the success story. Everyone is saying, yes, alala, South Africa, you guys were better than anybody else at this tournament. Why? Because both our men's and women's teams qualified to go to Portugal, right? None of the other nations participating got both of their men and women's teams through, but South Africa did. Our wheelchair tennis team is fantastic. And in the men's side, Evans Maripa, and he's a good guy. Evans is just one of those guys. I love Evans. And Leon Els, they beat Morocco in the men's side. Mariska Venter and Nokwanda Hlongwane were too strong on the women's side, and both of them, men and women, beating Morocco, we're through, and our wheelchair tennis team is there. But it doesn't end there, because our quad team is also qualified. So we got 3 teams going through in May to the PNB Paribas World Team Cup of Wheelchair Tennis. It's going to be fantastic there. The other nations that have qualified, and there's some strong ones like the Netherlands and Spain and France, and you've got Poland and Great Britain and Germany, Brazil, just to give you a sense of the teams that will be making their way through there. There are lots of them, and we are amongst them. Good luck, Wheelchair Tennis South Africa. Looking forward to you guys having a fantastic tournament. If you want to give me your thoughts on any of those stories, do remember, I did open an invite to you to tell me about this match between Dondal and NM Platinum. That's what I want to hear. If you were there, if you were in Mums, if you were at this game that caused so much chaos and social media speaking about, and the referee having to be taken away to safety because it looked like he was in all sorts of danger at the end of that encounter, give us a call. We want your eyewitness reports. We're going to start that conversation about, refereeing, lower division, the safety of it, the quality of it, and so much more. Stay with us.
Have your say and call Thomas. Okay. On 089-110-3377. Or get in touch with the Ultimate Sports Show via WhatsApp on 079-585-6157. It's the Ultimate Sports Show with jersey number 10. Thomas Mlambo.
Love, we're late for the wedding. Let's just use Google Maps.
Relax, we're not lost. Baby, I've been there before. At this corner, we're turning left.
Turn right.
Bangene fast with 4G and Google apps. Finding directions with Google Maps on the powerful 5-inch display of the Technopop 2XF 4G smartphone for only 599 Rand on prepaid. You also get 140 minutes, 1.2 gigs anytime data, and 1 gig YouTube data monthly for 12 months when you recharge for 29 Rand every month. Go online or visit a Vodacom, Pep or Ackerman store or other participating retailers. T's and C's apply. Wear a mask. Stay safe. Further together. Vodacom.
Schools are now back to full-time attendance. This means sport and other extramural activities are back on. But this also means there might be a higher chance of COVID-19 spreading. Young people can still catch COVID-19 and can still get. If you're 12 years or older, you can get vaccinated to help protect yourself, your family, and your friends. Parents are encouraged to take you for your vaccination, or when it arises, you can vaccinate in your school with your parents' or guardian's consent. There's no need to book an appointment. You can just walk straight into the vaccination site. To find your closest site, check out sacoronavirus.co.za/active vaccination sites. Got questions? WhatsApp a message to 0600 123 456. This message is brought to the Department of Basic Education with generous support from the United States Agency for International Development.
It's the ultimate sports show with Jersey number 10.
Jersey number 10.
Thomas Mlambo. Thomas Mlambo.
Sing it with Jersey number 10.
Welcome back. So now, on what was supposed to be an important day in football, ABC Motsepe Gauteng game between Dondol and Platinum, critical encounter with Dondol needing just a draw to qualify for the playoffs in their stream, and Platinum needing all 3 points to qualify for those playoffs. So it's a critical encounter. And then right at the death, a goal goes in. The crowd is worrying because you see fans attacking the referee. And there's one really big statured man who even tries to kick at the referee. Security surround him. The chairman of Dondol losing team, he gets the referee into his personal car with security surrounding him to get him away from the stadium. All this stuff is out on our social media and you can see it. But I want you to hear, what took place on the day. We did take out some of the choice language that was being used, directed at the referee and the officials on the day. Big day in football. Spoil action here. So losers, there was so much swearing taking place there. There was so much aggression, so much security, and the of Dondol even protecting the referee, throwing him into the car and saying, "Let me get you to safety." 1-0 was the scoreline. Platinum have qualified by virtue of that, have one league in the Gauteng region. They now have to play one more match and they could be on their way to potentially being in the Glad Africa Championship. So you know how important this is for all the teams involved there. If you were there, guys, give us a call. Let me know what you think and what you saw and how it down, because there were so many people at this venue. And I've got Adrian on the line already. Adrian, you are the first caller to call in and say you were at this match. Adrian, welcome to the Ultimate Sports Show. I'm your jersey number 10. What jersey do you wear in life?
Used to be jersey number 13 and number 11, Jabu and Malati.
Oh, number 11. Okay, down the wings, speedy. Did you need any of that speed in mums when Dondol and NM Platinum were playing?
We did not need all the speed because we had it on the field. We had quality on the field at all times. And as we know, Thomas, we are a brilliant team for that guy support from Westbury. We've been in the Mississippi League for quite some time.
Okay, before we go far, it sounds like you're affiliated to one of the teams, right? Are you with one of these teams?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, which team are you affiliated with? Let's just make that clear.
NM Platinum.
You're with NM Platinum, and what do you do there?
I support the team wholeheartedly. I follow them for a good couple of years now.
Okay, so what did you see? What went down from your vantage point?
Thomas, from our side, since we arrived, we've been treated hostilely. We didn't get a welcome that we give all the teams when we get to the games. We could sense the tension from the onset, from the word go when we arrived, from our place of gathering. And during the game, you could hear and see how the coaches, the technical staff was starting to swear at our coaches on that side. And it was vigilant that there would be fights breaking out at all times.
But you won, and the referee had to be ushered away, whisked away. What happened at the end there? Why did the referee end up being on the wrong side of what the crowd were feeling?
The crowd of Dundalk could not accept the goal. They felt that it was offside goal, of which it was not an offside goal. A lot of the linesman on the far right of Dundalk side saw that it was not offside, and he gave the play a go ahead. And the fans directly behind our bench was also it was out of order. How do you have fans against our bench? And they started swearing and booing, and some guy there started throwing things at the referee even.
Right, so that's one account coming through. We want more of those accounts to come through. Thank you for calling in there. One of the officials of Platinum giving his perspective of what went down. Safa on the line, the Provincial Executive Officer of Safa Gauteng, Victor Ralechana. Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Show. How are you?
I'm fine, and how are you? And good evening to your listeners.
Good. But Victor, first of all, we're all concerned about the referee involved. How's he doing? Is he unharmed? How shaken was he after the incident? I saw, and fortunately they didn't connect with him, but the one kick that was directed in the video could really have hurt.
Okay. Yeah, no, we have checked with our match official, and then he has indicated that he just had a prize, I think, on the face, but he is okay. He has indicated that he's okay.
How much are you disturbed as Safa, from what you saw, the images that you see on the social media, the crowd, wanting to get hold of one of your referees?
Yes, indeed, we are very concerned with that kind of a situation, and then we want to take this opportunity to condemn it with the strongest possible terms, because it does not belong to football and it does not belong to any sports in general. So this kind of behavior is the behavior that we definitely don't want to see in our football. Yeah.
We see it all too often, though. Every couple of months, there's a video, there's a clip, there's something that comes from one of the regions that shows this situation. How's it being dealt with, Pravita?
Look, I think there are two processes of dealing with it. The first one is you deal with it with the disciplinary systems that are in place, where you will charge the offending team and then deal with them. And then the other one is that we will need to organize workshops where we will be with our teams, educating them about proper behavior at our fixtures, so that we don't have these kind of things, because definitely they are spoiling the product that we want to build.
And from what I'm hearing, the chairman of Dundalk, they run the risk still of being charged for this incident, right? They're the home team. They lost the game 1-0. And the crowd were very unhappy with how the goal went in the last minutes of the game. But that chairman was the one who, seems to be making sure that the referee was safe. What did you think of those visuals? What did you think of what you saw there when it came to the home side? That official being almost the hero of the situation, making sure that despite his team being the losing side, he was the one protecting the referee.
Yes, but firstly, this should not have happened. So while we will appreciate the action from Dundalk for protecting the match official, but it is the same Dundalk that should have made sure that this kind of a situation does not happen. So it goes both ways. Yeah.
So there could be a hot letter still coming Dundalk's way.
Yes, Dundalk is going to be charged. We are still studying the reports from the match officials, and then charges will go out.
What are off the top of your head? What would those charges look like? What would be charged?
So, for instance, there is another thing that we have been talking with our teams. The one of them is the contravention of the SAFA safety and health regulation as far as the COVID COVID-19 protocols are concerned, the issue of the supporters, and then the other one, it will be the assault of match official.
So
by the supporters.
Firstly, are you saying COVID protocols were broken from what you understand?
By the look of the video, you see that there are supporters there, and then they were not supposed to be supporters
At all.
They was not supposed to be supporters. Yeah, that's what we have seen on the video.
And that should not be the case. All the teams in SAFA football know that there should not be any crowd in attendance at a football match that has SAFA as the governing body.
Yes, and then we have talked with our teams, and then with this match in particular, I think it was on one of your sister radio stations last week. We talked about it also, that supporters are not allowed as far as our fixtures are concerned.
So surely at that stage, right, shouldn't the referee not even start the match if there shouldn't be anyone there? Is that not in his ability to say no? Okay, the rules say no crowd, no game.
No, the referee will not just stop the match by virtue of seeing the supporters. So what they will normally do is that they are supposed to report to us, and then upon receiving the report from the match officials, then we will study the report and then deal with the situation as per the report.
All right. So, Victor, as the provincial executive officer of SAFA Gauteng, tell me what happened? Like, what, from what you've gathered, the early indications, the early information that you're getting, what happened at full time after the game? You know, we get a little sense in the video, only like a little 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes. But what happened from what you understand?
No, apparently there was a goal that was scored in the 88 minutes. And then after that goal, things started to change. And then I think there were some stoppages. But eventually the referee finished the match. And then after finishing the match, then he was attacked by the supporters, as you have seen it on the video.
And in that video, we keep hearing 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. When I first heard that, I thought, oh, that means the referee had added 10 minutes. But I'm told that that's not the case.
Yeah, I that one I cannot comment on it because I could only hear it on the video. But,
okay, from what I understand, that the fans were basically asking for 10 minutes, saying they wanted 10 more minutes, not that the referee had added more time. They were saying that the goalkeeper had fallen down. He was down for a couple of minutes, and the referee should add more minutes. They wanted 10 more minutes in this game, and the referee kind of ended the match much closer to the final whistle than that crowd wanted.
Yes, but it goes back to what I've said earlier, that what we will need to do on top of what we are the way we are dealing with it, with the disciplinary actions, we will need to organize workshops with our teams where we can educate them and then about these things, because in the end you can just see that it was just about the losing team not being able to accept the defeat, maybe because the game came in the last minute.
Okay, but Victor, there's lots of reaction. People want to get in on the conversation, so let's hear, and maybe you can keep a keen ear as well, and maybe deal with one or two of the points that are made if they are relevant to you. So here are your voice notes on this incident, your thoughts on the topic that I've put out today, which is the refereeing, the quality of it and the safety of it, and what we see happening in lower division football. The latest incident being Dondal versus MM Platinum over the weekend.
Thomas, good evening there. But we all know that the refereeing in the lower division is very much poor, and the safety is not there, not at all, and also the money. We all know that the referees just work for the love of football or for the love of the work they are doing there. There's no safety at all, Mr. Thomas.
Good afternoon, Thomas. You are speaking to Police Matengwana, Cape Town, Thomas. Hey, Thomas, I've just listened to this clip. which we are playing a few minutes ago. Thomas, it's been some years we're always crying about the coverage from NFT, including ABC Motsepe League. That time it was second division. During the time Trevor Phillips arrived in South Africa, 1996, all of these they never had resolved, Thomas. I don't know why PSL, why can't engage SABC or DSTV Supersport to televise these games, Thomas. Remember, Thomas, these games at the bottom, NFT and the second division, it's tough, Thomas. There, it's tough, and then everything and anything can happen there. The tribal of referees, everything, Thomas. So this clip reminds me something, Thomas. It takes me back, Thomas. I don't know. PSL got money to televise this game, more especially the first division games. It's tough, Thomas. There is tough. It's tough.
Evening, Mr. Thomas. Yes, person to change from Divan. Yeah. Talking about that game on ABC Multi League, it's where, yeah, the problem lies in our football refereeing. If the quality of refereeing doesn't goes up, our football will remain the same or maybe worse, because teams they do their work of the whole week and then just one man to finish their effort for the whole week. Yeah, that's a problem in our football. If it doesn't goes up the quality of refereeing in South Africa, our football will remain the same.
Even the Mr. T. Tulane from London. Please ask Mr. V, why doesn't SAFA hire referee permanently? Because now these decisions are influenced because of money. If maybe the referees were permanent, they know that they're losing a job. But now it's like a part-time job. Let me go and ref. If they give me something, I'll take it so that I can be good. This season I watched maybe 5 games. 5 penalties in not 5 games. Thanks.
Evening, Thomas Mlambo, jersey number 10. It's Derek Mguni from Amlazia in Durban. Your jersey number 8.
Hola, number 8.
Yeah, thanks for your coolest show, Thomas. All the time. Pick up to your show. We haven't I didn't see or I haven't heard about the referee that got injured. But we hope he get better soon. We wouldn't like to see that in our sports. Again, my concern, I thought we were talking about the poor officiating of the refereeing in Africa. We saw this thing in Bafana, and we didn't hear about the outcome. What was the outcome of that referee who robbed us out of the World Cup qualifying? Now is this happening in CAF Confederation now? Look at that player from Orlando Pirates got a red card for no reason. So if we can just get a clarity on that, if that was the red card, I would appreciate that. Thanks for your show, Thomas. It's Derek Mguni, your jersey number 8.
Show number 8. On the line, Provincial Executive Officer of SAFA Gauteng, Victor Ralechana. Yeah, I mean, I heard a lot of things coming through there, Bravik. Mainly quality of the refereeing. What do you think? What's your position on the quality of referees that SAFA is producing and the decisions that are being made in critical games like this one?
We don't have doubts on the quality of the match officiating in our fixtures. And then, as you could have heard, even on this one, the people that commented, they are all, or most of them are saying that there was nothing wrong with the match officials. It's just that maybe the goal came in the last minutes of and then that is the nature of football. A goal can be scored at any time during the game. So what we are also doing as a province is that we regularly workshop or train our match officials. We already had our workshop where they were trained, and then we'll also be having one, I think, on the 10th of April to make sure that we improve the quality of the match officiating in our game.
One of the points that was made there was the payment of referees, right? Professionalizing them, making them almost permanently employed as referees. What is the current structure? How does it work?
No, remember we are talking about the match officiating in the a provincial league, which is an amateur league, and then now the issue of professionalizing. I don't think that it's relevant in this case.
But how does it work? Let's understand the structure.
We have referees in the national in the provincial panels, and then those referees are appointed to officiate our games. Yes.
And with regard to how this is done, it's ad hoc when we need you. Are they constantly refereeing? I'm still trying to understand how this whole structure of refereeing works. It's a little bit of a dark art. We don't really get it.
No, like I'm saying, you will have referees that are in the national panels.
Yeah.
Now, those referees will be appointed as when there are fixtures. And then sometimes a week can pass that the referee is not appointed, but the other week the referee will be appointed. But we have got several leagues in the province. We've got the ABC and the Pepe, the Sasol, we've got the Gauteng Development League, and then we'll also be starting with the Gauteng Women Development League. So we do have those leagues that are keeping our referees busy.
And then in terms of their busyness, do you think it's important that they are professionalized, that it becomes a full-time job?
No, that I don't think that one it can be directed to the province, because the province deals with the league as mandated by the SAFA National Office. Yes.
And then tell me, one of the other points that interested me is, do you think television coverage would make a difference, like to the safety and to lessening such incidents in lower division football?
Yes, it can do, but we have also seen matches that were televised that you find that you still have people that are attacked. But yes, to some extent, when people knows that they are being watched, there are cameras, they tend to behave differently.
Okay, Bravik, before I let you go, let me just get this. So the referee in this case, and maybe in some of the other cases, are they assisted, from a mental health perspective? That's the new catchphrase in all sport. Mental health is important, in order that they can get back on the field, especially when, your life was kind of threatened like this particular match official was.
No, but like I said, when our referee encounters such kind of situation, we will check with them and then find out how are they doing it. And then when we do that, we also want to assess if there is any kind of help that might be needed.
And then what would you like from the football? Are saying, and then I want to hear from one of the clubs. Platinum's chairman will be on with us right after this.
Good evening, Thomas. Is back here in Cape Town, and I think the referee committee and all those people need to be properly trained, because if you look at even here in the PSL, there are a lot of errors that are made by the referees, and I think that needs to change their standard because they cost the teams. But I'm not saying that in this incident there was a similar situation like that we always see in the PSL. But I think their standard need to be upgraded because they demonstrate the poor refereeing. Because if you look at the games that have been blown by the referees so far, look at the game of Sundowns and Maritzburg. Look at the game of Orlando Pirates, for example. These things and the mistakes that cannot be happening during the course of the game.
Hi, jersey number 10. Thank you for the show. With regards to our Proteas, the woman, I'm really glad that we lost now in the group stages against Australia rather than losing in a potential semi-final, etc. We can build on our mistakes. We can work on whatever needs to be worked on and be 110% ready for that final. I agree with you. I so wish that we can keep that number 2 spot so that we don't meet Australia in the semis, but rather meet them in the finals and hopefully bring back that championship. When it comes to the refereeing situation that you spoke about, the game that happened in Mams, it's a really sad situation for such to happen. Kudos to the team, the losing team, for trying to protect that official. I'm a former official. Not in soccer, but it really gets tough, and no official goes into a game wanting to be the hero or the decider. Things happen, games get tough. After the game, when you watch your videos, when you watch certain situations, you also open up
these things and the mistakes that cannot be happening during the course of the game.
Hi, jersey number 10. Thank you for the show. With regards to our Proteas, the woman, I'm really glad that we lost now in the group stages against Australia rather than losing in a potential semi-final, etc. We can build on our mistakes. We can work on whatever needs to be worked on and be 110% ready for that final. I agree with you. I so wish that we can keep that number 2 spot so that we don't meet Australia in the semis, but rather meet them in the finals and hopefully bring back that championship. When it comes to the refereeing situation that you spoke about, the game that happened in Mams, it's a really sad situation for such to happen. Kudos to the team, the losing team, for trying to protect that official. I'm a former official, not in soccer, but it really gets tough, and no official goes into a game wanting to be the hero or the decider. Things happen, games get tough. After the game, when you watch your videos, when you watch certain situations, you also open
these things and the mistakes that cannot be happening during the course of the game.
Hi, jersey number 10. Thank you for the show. With regards to our Proteas, the woman, I'm really glad that we lost now in the group stages against Australia rather than losing in a potential semi-final, etc. We can build on our mistakes. We can work on whatever needs to be worked on and be 110% ready for that final. I agree with you. I so wish that we can keep that number 2 spot so that we don't meet Australia.
Advantage, and we have to give them credit for it. When we got to the ground, there was security, there was visible policing, the ground was barricaded, but it's an open field. The moment,
but you can't run away from it either, though, Nazir. As
can't,
the chairman of Platinum, you're admitting that you also allowed crowd to attend your match when you weren't allowed to. I mean, why would you even have people there? Surely, if you're going to have security and they're there, it shouldn't welcome people into their seats. It should be to tell people they can't come in.
Yeah, look, I was under the impression that at the start that you were allowed a small amount of crowd. I mean, our home ground where we're playing is barricaded. The crowd does not have access onto the playing field. It's barricaded.
But they're not even supposed to be in the stands.
Last week was not barricaded.
But they're not even supposed to be in the stands or in the venue at all, according to what Safa told us today.
Then it's a mistake from all of us, misunderstanding, eh? Amateur football requires amateur minds, eh?
Right. So everything was fair from where you stand. I mean, I guess I'm asking the guy who won, but you feel everything was fair.
Yeah, no, I feel everything went fair. The refereeing was good. I mean, there was a professional coach. The Swallows head coach was there. I listened to his interview. It was on YouTube as well.
Dylan Kerr
was there. Everything went the game, everything, to me, the officiating there was no biasness, not that I could pick up on.
But then what happens then? I mean, it's crazy that you feel everything went right and the referee is being kicked and having to be rushed into the car.
Disgruntled fans. Look, that match, it was winner takes all. The crowd went crazy. Nobody wanted to lose. It's simple as that. It just shows the desire, what this victory meant for our community, what it meant for the Mamelodi community. It's what the people want. The people want, I mean, if a team goes out, you're going into the NFD or you're going to you're giving yourself a chance of going to the NFD. It creates opportunity for communities. It creates opportunity for footballers, for young lads. So this thing meant a lot, not only for our community in Joburg, in Soweto, in Eldo, Haru Park, in Westbury, but to Mamelodi, it meant a lot to them as well. You could see it. I mean, me personally, I did not see the attack on the referee. I just heard about it afterwards.
But it's at that level of football, a level that you're involved in for seasons now, Nazir, that we see such incidents taking place. What causes it? Why do we see in lower division football referees constantly being at the receiving end of the wrath of the crowd or the club officials?
I don't know. I think SAFA will have to, maybe like Victor said, they have to engage more in workshops with the club owners, with club managers in terms of controlling the crowds, controlling the fan base, and that would just increase it.
It seems so common though. It's not once in 10 years. It seems so common at in that level of football, the level that you guys are competing at.
Yeah, it's not only in Gauteng, it's countrywide. So I think SAFA will have to up the game, maybe introduce more workshops.
Are you passing the buck here? Where's the personal responsibility?
Look, I haven't had the problem like this from our crowd, so I wouldn't pass the buck. Maybe La Masia or maybe MM Platinum is just well managed. Maybe we well managed. I've never had an incident where there was I think this past season, I don't remember once where we had fights with the referees or our fans attacked the referees at our home ground. It didn't happen. So maybe it's a big up to the La Masia management. We should give ourselves a pat on the back and say, job well done.
What's the club all about? MM Platinum. What are you guys about? What do you see yourselves doing? Where do you come from? Like, give us a little bit of a sense of the history of this club that now are in the final playoffs for the Stream B in the ABC Motsepe Gauteng. Are you there, Nazir? Okay, I think I've lost Nazir at this point, and maybe we'll try and get him back for the last 5 minutes of the conversation. But that was the chairman of the club that came out on the winning side. MM Platinum, 1-0 victory in Mamelodi against Dundalk. Social media is all abuzz about that encounter. Referee having to be saved from a very angry support base. That's what we saw on the video clips that are available. Safa reacting to it, and now Nazir Baker, who is the MM Platinum chairman, reacting to it as well and speaking about what he saw from his perspective there as well. So plenty for us to engage in, plenty of us things for us to be thinking about, and I still just can't get away from the fact that I felt he was a little bit nonchalant about the fact that the crowd was at his game, despite Safa saying that there was no crowd that should be there, and that there was a crowd at the Dundalk game when the owners of these clubs should know that there should be no crowd there as well. And yet there was plenty of security on hand. Why do you have all that security when nobody is supposed to be at the match? Clearly, there's a disconnection somewhere between officials, the supporters, and the South African Football Association. Let's hear what you guys are saying.
Good evening, Pra Thomas. Thomas, I'm not saying I'm one of the people who went to the stadium there. I'm not one of them. But listen, Thomas, I think the people are starving to watch football, man. It's been a while now. We are not allowed to go to the stadiums. I think our government and the minister need to sit down and try to make a plan for us as football supporters. I think it's hard now for almost 2 years without going to the stadium. Thank you, Pratom.
Yeah, we miss it. We do, but we also need to wait for the permissions and all the regulations to be in place for us to go back. We can't just decide for ourselves. Because now look what's happening. You know, there is a situation where referees are not necessarily the safest. We saw that happening now in this encounter. And hopefully, like Mr. Baker said, lots of conversations can happen. The necessary workshops can take place. And in the last 2 minutes, I've got Nazir Baker on the line. Nazir, tell me about your club. Tell me about MM Platinum. Who are they?
MM Platinum is a team that was formed in Westbury. It was initially started from a breakup team from Argentina. You know, Argentinos were Steven Pinar and then Stephen Dollies and them.
Yeah.
So MM Platinum was formed from that team. From a few of the players broke away and we formed La Masia, basically. MM Platinum is also known as La Masia. We then started playing tournaments. And then we felt the need that we've got a strong enough team and we needed to make it more professional. We then bought over the status of another team and we took it from there. We gave ourselves a 5-year mandate to get into the NFD.
How many years are you into that?
We're 3 years into it.
And you're knocking on the door. You've got one more game, right? Next on the horizon, there's a playoff match in Stream B. Who are you playing?
African All-Stars.
You win that game, what happens?
It's a two-legged home and away game.
We
win it, we go into the provincial playoffs.
And provincial playoffs lead to?
Provincial playoffs, if we obtain top of the group, we go into the NFD.
Right. So there we go. There's a sense of the journey that these clubs need to go through to make their way up into professional football. Thank you, Mr. Baker, for joining us on the show and giving us your perspective on what went down in that match over the weekend. That's it. Brings us to the end of the Ultimate Sports Show. And coming up next, Ayabonga, how are you?
Jersey
Metro
number
FM
10.
Talk is coming up next. What do you got
Jersey
for
number
us?
10, udume wonke umhlaba.